welcome once more to the Phil Taylor Jones Show. I have to issue a little apology. We were supposed to come in yesterday with day two of this Republican National Convention, but our services were needed elsewhere, so we had to take care of some things. So again, we apologize. Well, today's subject is, you guessed it, day 2 and 3 of this Republican Convention. And I'm Phil Taylor Jones, your host, and let's talk about this thing. Well, folks, I don't really know whether it's political overload for me or all of the crazy stuff that we've been witnessing over the past few months, of all these murders and all these bombings and truck runnings over and shootings and racial injustice and racial indifference and all of this stuff. And then hearing these two major candidates go back and forth, bickering and trying to belittle and malign each other, knowing that they're both in their 70s. Well, the Bitchery Clinton is 68, and this Trump fella is 70 on the nose. They both have grandchildren that probably act more mature than they do. I don't know, but I'm just not feeling this convention at all. First of all, it's dull, it's boring. They came alive a little bit more last night than they have been. But before we get into last night, let's talk about Tuesday. Tuesday was business as usual with the counting of the crunching the numbers of delegates and all in the roll call. Then after that, they had several speakers, and none of them really touched me that much except for Christie. Christie was vintage Christie. He just let it out, and he had like a little mock trial for the Bitchery Clinton, and that was when they sort of coined the phrase lock her up, which was actually non-existent because she's not going to be locked up. If the FBI has combed her over and found out that she was nothing more than careless and incompetent and still didn't lock her butt up, I don't see where some people yelling lock her up at a convention is going to do that. So I guess it was entertaining for some, but to me it was senseless and useless. But anyway, he knocked it out of the park as far as I was concerned. And that was it, you know. Christie. Oh, Ben Carson. Now, I don't know. Ben Carson, to me, seemingly was a bit off. Looking at him in some interviews that I've seen him in, and then looking at his performance at the debates, and then seeing him on Tuesday, he seemed a bit off. It was just something like it wasn't right there. You know, he exposed the Bitchery Clinton as being a Lucifer lover in this book and this author that she followed in her years. Other than that, he seemed a bit off, but his speech was okay and informative. Now, let's move on to last night. What can I say? All these people came up to speak, and I literally felt nothing. I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel pride. I didn't feel happiness. I felt nothing. I was numb because I've been hearing the same crap from the same two parties for the same 20 years. They're talking about their families and where their families came from and what their mama said, what their daddy said. And I don't care about your dried up parents and what they said. We're sitting in a recession, or probably is a recession by now, but we're sitting in $20 trillion of debt, soon to be. We have had 8 of the worst years in United States history. We've got trouble brewing all over the world. And it's coming to our doorstep. Has come, not coming. Has come. And with the Bitchery Clinton, more of it is on the way. And from the way this Trump fella's talking, I don't like what he's saying, because he's talking about building a wall, but he's going to have a door in it. At first I thought he got it. I really did. When he first announced his candidacy for president, he said he was going to build a wall. Period. Then the pressure got to him, I guess. Then he started putting in a big door. First of all, we have more than enough foreigners on this rock already to do whatever you want to do with. We got enough of them. We got enough of them, so much so that ICE and Homeland Security, knowing that they're criminals, won't send them back. They're keeping them here and letting them out into the mainstream so that they, 1, can do the same or worse crime, 2, kill somebody, 3, kidnap or rape somebody, and everything in between. So we got that group set of foreigners over here. Then we got these new ones that are supposed to be refugees. And they had a little slight breakdown of how many were delineated to each state. And I think my state had like 574. So add a couple of zeros to that. Maybe 57,240, or at least 5,720, but not no 571. Get out of here. So we got those kind of foreigners. Then we've got the ones we already had before all this crap started. So I really thought he got it, but obviously he didn't. So they prattled on and they prattled on with their little speeches. Now, the only speech that I really paid attention to, because I was really concerned about or really interested, shall we say, in what he was going to say, and that was Newt Gingrich. He came on, he gave an eloquent speech. The man knows his onions. He knows about security. He knows about keeping us safe. The man has been studying it, picking it apart since 1958. 58 years this man has had his finger on the pulse of how to keep us safe. And a lot of times when he was in there as Speaker of the House, and he was in there in a big way, people didn't listen to him. But the man knows. So I believe he would have been an excellent choice for vice president. I still believe that. Other than that, those speeches meant nothing to me. They were paid by the sponsor. By that I mean either Trump paid them to go up there and speak, favorably, or the RNC paid them off to come and speak favorably, because oh boy, they were so overly enthusiastic and so phony. Phony is a $64 bill. Brings me to Rafael Cruz and Paul Ryan. First, Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan came on and he gave a speech. He gave a brilliant speech. He gave the speech that I thought he would give. For the Republican Party, that is. I didn't expect any less from Paul Ryan. Now, Rafael Cruz. He came in and he congratulated Trump, and then he went on into his spiel. And he ended it. And now everybody's all at Twitter about, oh, that was a bummer. He came in, he was just nasty to Trump. He didn't even endorse him. Did that surprise you? Rafael Cruz is a dirtbag. Did you expect him to clean up before he came to the convention? No. But then let's look at this thing for what it's worth. Now, anybody knows me knows that I don't care for Rafael Cruz. But fair is fair. Donald Trump is no angel in this. He went after Rafael Cruz. Well, he went after everybody up there, actually. But he went after Rafael Cruz. And I guess fair is fair, because Rafael Cruz went after him. But he crossed the line when he brought the man's family into it on a world stage. Everybody was watching that convention, both here in the States and abroad. He ridiculed, made fun of, belittled, impugned, destroyed the man's wife. Now, dirtbag or not, some people are very loyal to their families. And I guess Mr. Cruz is no different from anybody else on that score. So did you honestly really think that he was going to come in and just endorse Trump with open arms after he destroyed his wife on a public stage, on a worldwide stage? No. Fair is fair. So he did just exactly what I thought he would do. Little surprised that Rubio, although he wasn't there, he sent in a taped video message or what have you. And he was a little gratuitous. But I expected Paul Ryan to come in and speak for the party and what the party represents and what the party does and what the party does. Party. He did what I expected. And this Cruz fella, I was surprised that he actually was going to speak. That was shocking. But I said, yeah, when he comes on the stage, he's not going to back up this character. And I can't say I blame him. But, other than show myself to be a real dirtbag, I would have just declined the invitation. But I guess he felt he had to come in and, stick the knife in and twist it. I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, tonight is the last of this crap. And I will be so happy when it's over because, as far as I'm concerned, there is possibly one candidate that nobody really knows that much about because of the selfish injustice of this political cesspool that we call a system. Dr. Jill Stein is very obscure. She's gaining some momentum. Whether or not she can gain enough to actually, one, get on the debate stage that's coming up, and two, garner enough votes to actually make the difference to get her the White House. That's what I'm really hoping for. Green Party, Jill Stein. This woman is a person that can work with people. Not a butt kisser, but able to work with people for the common good. You see, a lot of people look upon these people, these political people like the Bitchery Clinton and this Trump fella as some kind of messiah or some kind of savior. Nobody can fill that boot. Nobody. Not Trump, not Clinton, not Stein, not Johnson, not Carson, not Christie, not anybody on the top side of this earth. We are too far gone to look back. Face it. I'm not looking through the rose-colored glasses at the world. I'm looking at the world for what it is. We've got major problems worldwide. We've got major problems stateside. And we need somebody not to go in there and be a messiah, not to go in there with the attitude that they can fix everything because they can't. But somebody to go in there, since they're not going to just totally clean house and get rid of all of these deadheads, all of these people that have outlasted 4 or 5, maybe 6 presidents, but someone to go in there with the mindset that this is what the country needs. These people are hurting on so many levels. And then to sit down and become a gatherer, draw these people in. Let's sit down, let's brainstorm and see what works. Jill Stein is that person. Look at her illustrious medical career, where she's collaborated with doctors from all around the world. Why? To help humankind. Look at her in whatever she does. She draws people to her. I have yet to hear a sorrowful thing about her. Not saying that she's perfect. Everybody's going to have some little bones rattling somewhere. but I'm talking about on the major scale. It would have been so wonderful to get to know her even better. It would have been so wonderful to hear all of her philosophies, all of her plans for the United States, instead of having to scrounge around on the internet and what have you, trying to find out about Jill Stein. But no, we don't live in that kind of society. We live in a greedy one, where they force feed you who they want you to have. In this case, Trump and Bitchery Clinton. So, we got one more day to put down to this crap, and I'll be glad when it's over. And then next week comes some more crap in the form of the DNC, where Bitchery and all of her cohorts will be taking the stage with the same phony rhetoric, with the same crap. Hopefully not the same band, because that band is irritating. Oh, God, and that pitiful mess they had on last night that was on there jumping around like a flea on a hot brick blowing that harmonica. Oh, God. I mean, 3 days of that, and then you got to put up with possibly another. How come they couldn't have mixed it up and had a nice jazz ensemble up there? You know, maybe have a black band up there playing, you know, some old rock and roll tunes or some old rhythm and blues tunes so people could, you know, shake a happy leg. Or if maybe they were that prejudiced, they didn't want any black folks up there, bring in somebody like Pat Metheny, you know, some nice jazz and, you know, this same raunchy little band playing the same damn tunes over the past 3 days. I mean, come on. Anyway, so hopefully won't have that band. But the same speeches, whether or not they plagiarized them, or, you know, the same rhetoric about my mom and dad and all that next week, stupid Democrats. Anyway, that's my spin on this week-long disaster. Exec, you got anything before we close it out?
Well, agreed as usual. Very boring, as we put on the description of the first one, Snorefest 2016.
Yeah.
Bands playing the same song over and over again. The guy you spoke of playing the harmonica, you reminded me of this. He looked like he was copying Michael Jackson's heel lift off the ground and up and down.
Oh, no, that was the lead singer from this the Smith band or something like that.
No.
Yeah, that was the one doing that.
He was copying the move where he lifts his heel up and down on the stage. And, you know, everybody saying the same thing, you know, my family taught me this and all that kind of stuff. We know that's where you come from. We know that's who teaches you through how to go through life. It's not really, you know, relevant that much to what you want to happen to this country, you know. But to have the same little stuff going on over and over again, the band playing the same song is ridiculous. You know, the true highlights of it, you know, in my opinion, was Christie. They claim Trump's family knocked it out of the park. I think Christie knocked it out of the park. The guy has a good stage presence. He always looks at the people in the eye. He always seems to have his thoughts well put together. He says one thing and he says, and now we're moving on to this. Then he says that. Then he says, okay, now this is the next subject. He's very well organized. He's done this before.
He should have been the nominee for president.
Mm-hmm. And it was a shame for Trump to not even pick him. You know, Christie backed him. You know, they even had him behind, you know, Trump trying to look like he was agreeing with everything he said. And these idiots on the internet were claiming he was like, what am I even doing here? Oh, I made such a mistake. No, he wasn't. You know, he was just trying to look like he was agreeing with what Trump said. He backed him a lot of times, you know, and supported him and everything. And he just, you know, it was supposed to be Christie and Gingrich. And then he just throws him out of the window and just comes up with some random person that most people haven't even heard of, this Mike Pence guy, which looks like a creep. He looked like he could be some kind of crooked lawyer or a crooked nose loan shark or something like that.
Yeah, most of them are crooked lawyers.
Mm-hmm. But I'm not for that. You know, I'm not for Trump anymore, just like you aren't, because he's wiffle-waffled on too many things. You don't need a wall with a door. Walls don't usually have doors. You know, buildings have doors, houses have doors, but walls are usually walls.
Especially when you're trying to keep somebody out.
Yeah, it's already too much people in this country. You can go outside and in certain parts of this area and you'll think you're in Oaxaca, Mexico. Stuff being sold and people in your way, you can't even walk. It's so funny. You got to swing your groceries left and right to make sure you don't slam them into anybody trying to walk. It's too many people in this country. and they want more to come here. He wants more to come here. His wife was saying we need to have this country, better for everybody, and she included Muslims. We don't need Muslims over here.
There's enough of them already here.
Mm-hmm.
I think they said they estimated 1.6 million. That's more than enough.
And the fact that he went back on it, this is the catalyst, the straw that broke the camel's back for both of us. This is when we stopped supporting him totally. Was when he decided to supposedly change his ban on Muslims. Instead of just all Muslims that were terrorists, or even just Muslims in general not coming here, he specified to not have Muslims blocked that were in countries that weren't specifically categorized or officially noted as terrorists. Those people are terrorists no matter what. There's always a percentage of them, no matter where the Muslims are, they're terrorists. If you have a group of 10 people and Muslims, one of them might be a terrorist potentially, 2, 3.
Mm.
But to not want to block some of them, that means he wants them to come over here. And I guess he wants the Muslim vote. That's why he did that, and that's what messed him up for us.
He even had one during the RNC had one during the prayer, the closing prayer.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, this stuff was crazy. There's one guy that was preaching yesterday. He was just all animated and really powerful in his statements. You were saying that he's trying to.
Oh no, he wasn't. He wasn't praying. He was speaking. This black guy, Reverend somebody.
Yeah, he's speaking.
Said, boy, you can definitely tell he was being paid by the sponsor.
He was trying so very hard to get his own ministry or TV show going. To look
Maybe
like
Trump promised him a big church. He said, I'll build you a big church if you get you a couple of Cadillacs. He's going to get a fleet of Cadillacs, the great big church. Gee.
Yeah, but
I said, oh my God, what is the matter with this fool?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, got me to interrupt you.
Mm-hmm. That's all right. But most of the people, were, besides Christie and, Carson being a little bit not the same as he was. I noticed his right side of his upper lip was kind of pushed up a little bit. I'm not sure he had a stroke or something happened bad to him, but he didn't seem to be as energetic as usual, even though he was off. He was still genuine, but
very genuine, but something was off.
But everybody else was just trying too hard to get people excited, and this blonde one with big rosy cheeks and flowing hair, I'm not sure if it was his daughter or one of his daughters, but she. Tiffany, yeah, she was just too fake and too pretentious and too phony. She was trying too hard. Like she would say, this is so something something, and this is so something something. She was trying too hard to make everything emphasized. And you can say the same thing, just like Christie does, and make people realize that you mean what you're saying, without being so this and so that. That's just so fake,
Phony is a $64 bill.
But whole thing is kind of annoying with the same little band and everything, and all they play is country music or white boy rock music. There's no other kind of excuse me for saying white boy stuff, but that's kind of what the genre is. You don't see anything that black folks have done or any other kind of genres at all. James Brown, get up off of the thing for the country. He's not alive, but his music isn't dead. You could play something like that. It doesn't have to be a live band. There's music out there that would still support the
have a band
country.
For every day. A new band for every day. They got the money.
Mm-hmm.
So have, if you want to be so supposedly inclusive of all cultures, they could have had like a little mariachi band there for the Hispanic vote or people contingent. Have a black band there for the black folks. Have the band they had there for the white folks, and have just an alternative band there for everybody else. Hootie and the Blowfish or somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the same funky band, and I don't know. Go on. I interrupt you again.
It's quite all right. But some of the people were, even with their hand gestures, were trying too hard. Like someone did like a little karate chop and then putting their hand waving out left and right. They're trying too hard with the hand motions. And speaking of that, you can definitely tell that both of Donald Trump's sons are his spitting image as far as speech goes. They both had their finger pointing out and their thumb hitting their ring finger connected, pointing and stuff. And then they also had their index finger, the first one, and their thumb connected together, you know, doing the same little hand motions he did. You could tell they were definitely a product of their own father. But that's about all I can say with this convention stuff. This Democratic one is going to be a puke fest. It's probably going to be just their rebuttal to everything that the Republicans said about them.
They're going to just try to tear them down.
Yeah, that's it.
On what you said about his kids, you know, I thought it was kind of chicken crap. You know, they had this little video montage about what his kids were saying. So they had everybody up there, but Barron. Now, I know Barron is not as old as the other ones. There's a flying thing in here. Sorry about that, folks. Even the flying thing can't stand the convention. Anyway, I know Barron, I guess he's about, what, maybe 11 or 12, 13, somewhere in there. He's the youngest one. He was the son of this one that was doing the plagiarized speech the other night, Melania. Anyway, you know, it's just a video collection of what the kids were thinking. Why did he leave him out? He could have said, you know, my dad is great. I think it would have made a, he's how much?
10 years old.
Oh, he's 10 years. Well, still he's 10 years old. My dad, I think, would make an excellent president. He's got, you know, good values and what have you. And vote for my dad. You know, he's part of the family. So, well, hey, Dad, why didn't you let me say something nice about you? But anyway, that's neither here the way these crazy folks operate. And then to echo what you said, there was this one woman. She was the women in business for Trump, and she had on this split sleeve thing, and she looked like, I don't know what. Looked like, damn it, I'll bite you. But she was so, with the gestures, and she was like this, and she's like that, and she's like, me, and oh, every word she said, there was a gesture, and hey, yeah, me. I said, oh my God. And then around about the end of her speech, she started, you know, kind of being silent and like, and I said, forgotten your bloody lines, haven't you? You know? I said, God, it's a puke fest. I have to have my bucket handy because you never know when you might want to cut loose. So anyway, that's the Reslugglicans and their crapola. And if you can stay through it, I mean, there's some out there that just love it. So they'll be there. But those of you who are just wanting to see what it's like, and well, as far as the exec and I, we watch it so that we can bring you the show, you know, our take on it. We'll try to get through tonight without the bucket. I don't know, may need that bucket. And then we'll have a few days to regroup before we get ready for these Democrats and their prized idiot, Bitchery, the bitch Clinton, and we'll be bringing you that crapola as well. So anyway, as we head into the weekend, because we'll be back tomorrow with today's show. So we'll bid you a good weekend at that time. Anyway, stay safe, stay happy, and join us again right here for the Phil Taylor Jones Show. Oh, the exec has something else.
Just forgot one more.
Should have told me that before I ended the show.
Excuse me. Whoops, excuse me. I forgot to mention one more thing that I've really been noticing the whole time, you know. Just like Bastard, everybody is looking towards a savior, a messiah, someone that's going to save everybody. They got the same blinders on, thinking that one person can save the country and one person's going to be better than all the other ones. You know, we want Trump, and Trump. You know, don't let your wooden gods fool you. No one person is going to be good enough to save the whole country. Even Jill Stein, you know, can't save it, but she can do her best. You know, but these people are just like a bastard. They're looking towards a messiah and everything. I had a customer when I was working with Starbucks tell me, I think the first time he was about to come into office, that he's going to bring change, like his little phrase was, his catchphrase. And I told this person that it remains to be seen. And I think it was a he said, oh, don't say that. And I said, well, I'm going to say it because it remains to be seen. We don't know what's going to happen, you know. And that person's probably, if they got any sense in their head, you know, in their minds about, you know, what's going on with the country, they'll probably say, you know, that person was right.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're an idiot and they like everything he's done, because some people say that he's led a blemish-free 8 years, a scandal-free 8 years, and they won't believe me, and they'll probably say that person
His
was wrong.
whole existence is a scandal.
And I noticed that Messiah business, and people are always doing that. It's not the very mature thing to do, and that's all I got to say on that part.
It's called creature worship,
Yeah.
you know, and the only creature that I would be willing to worship would be a dog, because dogs are loyal, they don't lie, and you can trust a dog.
With your
But
life.
humans, you can't really trust.
Not with your life.
So
Like
if
a
there's a
dog.
creature out there that I'm going to worship, it'll be a dog. Having said that,
Mhm.
we don't want to let you go today, people. We're happy to have you with us. No, seriously, I'm going to say this one thing and we'll let you get about your business. Over in Great Britain with this Theresa May woman. Oh boy, now they want to get rid of her because she is, you know, pumping up and Islam is being such a wonderful thing. And she's pumping up all kinds of crap that the Britain contingent don't feel should be pumped up. And now they want to get rid of her. But I'm telling you, these political people, they may look one way and they get in there and they act another. They make all these grandiose speeches and promises and their wish lists. But how many of those are they willing to sit down and make come true by actually working together with people? You know, you look at this thing for what it is with this convention we're going through now. We've only got 5 living presidents, if you want to call them that, or 4 living presidents and 1 dirtbag. 3 of them are Democrats, and the other 2 are Republicans. How shameful it was to not have them come and support the candidate. You best better believe that old Peanuts Carter and naturally Slick Willie is going to be there, Blowjob Willie, because that's her husband, and Oh Bastard will be there speaking for the Bitchery Clinton. You know, so a lot of these things in and of themselves speak volumes. You know, what's going on. So we really need to put our thinking caps on and really understand what's going on. The world is real, and we must look at it realistically. That's going to do it for us for real this time. See you next time right here on the show. Take care. Bye-bye.